into the TV Waterhouse Center. We're getting ready for Game 4 between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Orlando Magic. The Magic hoping to extend this series to a fifth and final game, and the Bucks are seeking to close things out. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert. This is the Czar. Mike Fratello will be joined in a moment by Cheryl Miller. And Czar, there's no question the story thus far in this series has been the dazzling play of the 21-year-old All-Star Tracy McGrady, who on Saturday night in the overtime victory by the Magic over the Bucks put on a Jordan-like performance.
Well, Grady took a little different approach in Game 3. In Games 1 and 2, he came out, tried to cause an explosion and lead by example to try and get the energy level up the rest of his teammates. In Game 3, he decided to get the other players involved and then at some point decide when to assert himself. Well, after playing a half of basketball that was just okay for Tracy McGrady, he certainly exploded in the second half and in overtime. But as Doc Rivers has said all along, Tracy McGrady alone is not enough. We need other players to step up. The two guys off the bench, Hack Garrity scored 16 points, 12 straight during one stretch, and D. Brown with 12 points, hitting 4 big three-pointers in the second half, combined for 28. Unfortunately, we see D. Brown ready to check in the game in the third period. An altercation breaks out in front of the Magic bench. D. Brown drifts out onto the floor, winds up actually about 4 feet from the baseline. The NBA office has suspended D. Brown for tonight's game. A major scorer is missing for the Magic. So when you talk to Rivers and ask who's the guy to step up and replace him, it must be Mike Miller. They need a big game from him tonight.
And you can hear the Bucks are hearing it from this crowd here in Orlando. As for Milwaukee, big dog Glenn Robinson has been quiet over the first 3 games. Sam Cassell has been kind of up and down, has not been able to break out, but Ray Allen has elevated his play, and he comes off back-to-back 27-point ball games.
Well, McGrady has certainly issued a challenge with his play, and the one guy to answer and step up his play has been Ray Allen for the Milwaukee Bucks. Whether it's Allen scoring points for him, whether it's Allen directing the show out in front with the basketball, and at times he's been their best defender against Tracy McGrady, Ray Allen certainly has elevated his game. He has had a very, very impressive regular season as we look at his numbers. But when it gets to the playoffs, the great players step it up a notch. And we can see what Allen has done. Every one of the categories has moved up. The second member of the Big Three, Sam Cassell, although he's not shooting the ball well, he's shooting in the low 30s, is actually scoring more than his 18-point average during the regular season. The third member of the Big Three, Glenn Robinson, has struggled. During the regular season, he averaged 22 points per game, but he's being guarded by Tracy McGrady, and it has caused him problems. He's not getting to the free throw line. He's not getting open looks at the basket, and every time he matches up at the defensive end against McGrady, it causes major problems. They need to get Robinson involved early tonight.
And Robinson not pleased that Tracy McGrady has been referring to him as puppy dog. Coming up, it's Game 4. The Magic and the Bucks in a series that has become a bit testy.
In my face, coming on acting like you own the place. The silence was going down, like you couldn't raise it down. Cause your mind is off of chasing and your mouth is working overtime.
Welcome back to Orlando, Florida. Look at tonight's Gatorade starting lineups. One change for the Milwaukee Bucks. George Karl going with the man he calls the Energizer, Darvin Ham, who had an injury-hit season, did make 13 starts during the regular campaign. Doc Rivers going the same way. Darrell Armstrong coming off a strong game 3, 18 points, 10 rebounds. You know about Tracy McGrady, who has just been electrifying over the first 3 games. Let's check in with Cheryl Miller. Cheryl?
Thanks a lot, Marvel. Just moments ago, I spoke to Sam Cassell, who said he does not want this series to go back to Milwaukee. He remembers what happened last year during the playoffs against Indiana, in which in a Game 5, the Bucks came dangerously close to upsetting the Pacers at Indiana. He does not want to give Orlando that opportunity. He realizes in a Game 5 situation, anything is possible. Sam Cassell said tonight, Cheryl, the series ends. Mark?
All right, thanks, Cheryl. The officials, Joe Crawford, Joe DeRosa, and Jim Clark. Scott Williams will go on the opening tip. against Andrew the Clerk, and it's controlled by Orlando.
One thing Doc Rivers is looking at early in the game, he said, look, energy is great and the enthusiasm with the crowd, but it can also hurt you. If you come out and don't play under control, you can have unnecessary turnovers. We've got to play under control early on.
And that's what Doc Rivers is looking for, some added offense from the rookie Mike Miller, who has not been able to get into it.
He sat down with Mike Miller after game number 3 and said, as the Clerk gets a piece, knocks out of bounds. He mentioned to Miller, watch these tapes. He said, you know what you're doing? You're just shooting the ball for the sake of shooting it. You're not shooting the ball to make shots. I want you to go out and shoot the ball to make shots, not just get them up on the backwater glass.
Mike Miller came on strong during the regular season, one of the leading candidates for Rookie of the Year honors. Here's Robinson, rebounded by Scott Williams, rejected by Miller from behind.
You forget Mike Miller's 6'8" and has some ups in those legs, so he does a good job for them on the glass.
The other point made by Doc, he'd like to see Tracy McGrady as the Clerk adds to the lead. It's 4-0 Magic. He wants to see Tracy McGrady come out first and look for people, and then get into it in the second half in terms of his offense.
You know, it's a four-period game here as Ray Allen elevates and hits the jumper. Boy, does he get that out of his hand quickly. You know, we've been talking about McGrady, how well he's played. Well, Ray Allen has certainly had a terrific 3 games here for Milwaukee.
Here's McGrady off the mark on that first shot. Cassell, played by Armstrong. Allen chased by Miller. Pick and roll as the hand gives it up. Williams not able to control, and Armstrong is on it. Darvin Ham rarely looks for the shot unless it's a putback. It counts, and the foul.
There's your continuation, NBA continuation. No more dribbles after the contact. McGrady has the presence to get the shot off. He tries to turn the corner in transition. He draws contact there. No more dribbles, elevates, and good for Tracy McGrady.
Glenn Robinson on the foul. So Tracy McGrady, who had 33 and 35 points in games 1 and 2. In game 2 and 1 stretch, he scored 20 consecutive points. So the Magic had 42 on Saturday night, plus 10 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 block shots. Robinson blocked by Outlaw.
Glenn Robinson tried to take advantage of the fact that maybe he was out in the open court. For a second, he would not have to operate against the set defense, so he pushed it hard at the basket.
2 minutes gone by, and Orlando with a 6-2 lead. Glenn Robinson cuts it to 6-4. We'd like to welcome those of you watching in Canada on TSN. First of our doubleheader here on CBS, to be followed by Utah and Dallas. Here's McGrady. Yes. A great player who is getting better at 21 years of age. Foul is called on Miller.
Ray Allen very fortunate. He got up in the air, and whether or not he wanted to drop it off to a teammate underneath the basket or not, I don't know that for a fact. But when he got up there, he no longer wanted the jump shot and was looking to get rid of it. Actually, the call bails him out.
As you mentioned, Ray Allen has had a terrific series. Ray winning much respect for his play in the Olympics in Sydney this past summer in his 5th season out of the University of Connecticut. So 4 points for Allen, and the Magic with an 8-6 lead.
I want to go back to before you were talking about Tracy McGrady and how he started the last game versus the other 2 games. You know, Doc Rivers mentioned to him, if there are 4 quarters in the game as Mike Miller goes to the basket, mixes it up a little bit now, jumper first time, drive second time. Of the 4, Rivers said, if I had a choice, give me periods 3 and 4 instead of 1 and 2. He said, I want you fresh and strong down the stretch in the game.
Foul is called on Outlaw, so Ham, who is not a good free throw shooter, will go to the line. I mentioned right at the start that Tracy McGrady had a Jordan-like performance on Saturday night, and that was usually the concept of Michael Jordan. He would try to get people involved early and then preserve energy. Not that he couldn't put up big numbers at the start, but he usually wanted to try to get everybody involved.
I think that held true most times. There were nights, though, decidedly that Michael had made up his mind. He was coming out. He was getting off early to get the team going. That maybe he felt that particular night, the other guys, back-to-back games, 4 games in 5 nights, maybe they were dragging. He had to give them the boost of energy, so he led by example, going hard in the beginning of the game.
Darvin Ham able to recover. Allen with a pass for Cassell, who chose not to pump it up. Now Cassell, and Armstrong got a piece of it. Cassell felt he also got a piece of his hand.
Well, during the regular season, Sam Cassell is a 47% shooter. Right now, after 3 games, Cassell is down to low 30s from the floor.
Traveling violation is called on Bo Outlaw. The winner of this series will face the Charlotte Hornets, who come off that stunning 3-game sweep over Miami. The Bucks' last playoff series win was back in the 88-89 season as Ray Allen continues the fast start. He now has 6 points, and the Magic leading by the count of 10-8.
Mike Miller actually got bumped off by his own teammate that time, trying to get over the top of the screen. It allowed Allen to turn the corner.
Miller. Cassell. Nice fake on Armstrong. Now Armstrong, who had the 18-point game the other night, though, has been playing with nagging injuries. Playing hurt, has had that pulled groin and stomach problems the last couple of months of the season. Armstrong is wide open. Armstrong for 3. Yes. Miller nearly picked it off. 13-10. Orlando. Scott Williams fouled by Andrew DeClerc.
What's interesting is Orlando wants to try and extend its defense after scores. They want to try and pressure Milwaukee, use time up off the clock. On the other hand, Milwaukee is getting the ball back in quickly after Orlando scores and trying to run it right back at Orlando so that they can't extend their defensive pressure.
The Bucks struggling here at the line. 2 out of 5 on the foul line. Zara mentioned the Bucks' last playoff series win. 1988-89, they knocked off the Atlanta Hawks 3 games to 2.
I don't know. I wouldn't know.
Who coached that ball play?
I don't know. We'll have to research
Who was the point guard on that team?
Doc Rivers, I think.
Yes, he was. And Armstrong again from downtown. But that was a Mike Fratello coached Atlanta team that featured nice move by Cassell, Dominique Wilkins, Moses Malone, Reggie Theus, Doc Rivers. Who am I leaving out? John Concat.
We actually used to play each other 6 times during the season back then. We had beaten Milwaukee all 6 times during the regular season. But when you get it down to a 5th and deciding game, that's what's going to happen to you. We missed a couple free throws, wound up getting beaten the last minute of the 5th game.
Bucks at that time coached by Del Harris. Here's Robinson getting down for it. And the Magic now leading by the score of 16-14.
You know, we said early in the game that little turnaround jumper by Glenn Robinson may have been the most important thing to happen to the Bucks. Robinson feeling pretty spry right now, pretty good about himself.
Glenn Robinson struggling, averaging 22 in the regular season. He's averaged only 14 the first 3 games. Here's McGrady overhand. Tracy McGrady, so difficult to deal with. 3 for 5 for the field. He has 6 points. Williams. Outlaw looks to save. Stepped out of bounds, says Joe Crawford.
Remember, Milwaukee in this series has out-rebounded Orlando by 34 rebounds in 3 basketball games. So we're talking about, you know, an average 10, 11 rebounds a game here that they're getting out-rebounded by. So the Magic must concentrate on going to the glass.
Robinson working on McGrady. So Robinson is off to a good start. Quiet to this point, but a lot of trash talking between these 2 clubs, in particular between McGrady and Robinson. Miller for 3. Yes. Mike Miller with 7 points, and Orlando has already hit 3 from downtown, the 3 of 4 from beyond the 3-point line. Ham is fouled, run into by the clerk.
The clerk actually tripped over another teammate on the way to try to block the shot, wound up landing it.
Timeout is called with 5:49 left in the first.
A beer is only as good as the ingredients used to
blend to catch the ball and then try to make opportunities for offensive plays for himself or for the team. But it'd be nice if he can just get some movement where he's got wide open set shots or coming down off a screen where he's got some space between himself and his defenders where he can make opportunities to shoot that pretty jump shot.
Well, let's face it, there are certain nights where certain players have good matchups and bad matchups against them. The nice thing for Milwaukee is they have Ray Allen, Sam Cassell to go along with Glenn Robinson. So there are so many nights that Glenn Robinson has carried his team. So far in this series, Allen has done the most damage. Then Cassell, averaging 21 points per game. Robinson has struggled. That does not mean he is not capable of busting out here tonight with a huge basketball game.
Yes, Robinson and Cassell over the first 3 games, 36 for 109. Sam Cassell just 7 of 23 in Game 3 Saturday. Did have a career-high 16 rebounds. That was a surprising number. Darvin Ham, after missing his first 2 free throws, able to hit a couple. Darvin Ham, one of George Karl's favorite players. Guy who's always on the floor, diving for loose balls, good defender. As I mentioned earlier, they call him the Energizer because he usually gets the club going. Cassell picks up that foul, his first.
That time we saw a 3-1, meaning McGrady-Armstrong pick and roll, which the Magic have used often in this series. The Bucks are noted to switch many of the pick and rolls. If they switch that one, you've got McGrady being guarded by Cassell. That time, Milwaukee did not switch it. They tried to stay with their own, get over the top of the screen on the dribble.
The clerk with the fake. Rebounded by Outlaw. Rejected by Williams. And here comes Ham with Robinson. Ham taking all the way. Offensive foul.
And Armstrong, remember, he has the groin and stomach injury that he's been trying to recover from. That time he took the contact head on, the offensive foul. In transition, Ham has his eyes on the rim. Armstrong out in front of the defensive zone area there. Both feet planted, takes the offensive foul.
Orlando take a 20-second timeout. Doc Rivers very quick to run out onto the floor to check out the condition of Darrell Armstrong, who is giving the impression that he's all right. Easy for us to say he's all right. Coming up next, here on TBS, it's the Jazz and the Mavericks. That'll be game 2 of our doubleheader. Utah hoping to wrap things up. The Mavericks trying to send it to a 5th and concluding game. Down to 5 minutes, 18 seconds left in this first quarter. The Magic 21 and the Bucks 18. Troy Hudson will come on, replacing Darrell Armstrong. Took that hard hit, taking the charge from the fast-moving Darvin Ham. Troy Hudson has been the backup point guard. 4th year out of Southern Illinois. One time was the starter for the Los Angeles Clippers. And back comes Cassell, who's guarded by Hudson. Cassell looking for a pick. Rebounded by Outlaw. The clerk. Nice move and a good setup from McGrady.
Unusual to see Andrew DeClerc with 4 field goal attempts this early in a basketball game.
Irvin Johnson getting set to come on for the Bucks. Here's Allen. Ray Allen has not handled the ball in a while. Good look. The Clerk. What able to stuff, but fouled.
Andrew DeClerc ran right down the middle of the lane, was under the rim, couldn't believe nobody was guarding him. It's tough to believe that nobody can find you when you're running the middle of the floor. DeClerc comes right down the middle to here, and he can't figure out, how can I be this wide open? And I think with the basketball, they couldn't believe nobody's guarding him. Scott Williams doesn't know who he has. As a result, 2 free throw attempts now after the foul.
Clark, an 82% free throw shooter. Scott Williams sitting down, replaced by Irvin Johnson. Darvin Ham also departs. Tim Thomas has come on. Tim Thomas with a bruised right hand after taking a fall in game 3. Plus has a bad back. Made it back from a partially dislocated shoulder, so he's a banged-up play. Here's Robinson off the double. He forced the shot.
Nice rotation that time by DeClerc to stop the penetration.
Miller. And Mike Miller on a roll here in the first quarter. Miller with 9 points. He's hit 4 out of 5, and it leads to a Buck timeout. 6 straight points for the Magic. 3:45 remaining in the first. Orlando 27, Milwaukee 18.
Ernie Johnson in Atlanta. Sad note to report tonight to you. Former Lakers forward Harold Happy Hairston died today at the age of 58 from complications of inoperable prostate cancer. Hairston played 11 seasons, 5+ with the Lakers, was a great rebounder, played on that Laker team that won 33 straight en route to the NBA title in 71-72, still holds the NBA record for defensive rebounds in 1 quarter with 13. Again, Happy Hairston dead at the age of 58. Marvin, Mike.
Thank you, Ernie. I can recall watching Happy Hairston playing for some of those outstanding NYU teams at Madison Square Garden.
I was a youngster. I can remember going over to Rose Hill, Fordham University, and watching the game between NYU and Fordham.
Here's Tim Thomas. Sorry to hear about the passing of Happy Hairston, who I know was ill for some time, and as Bernie mentioned, a member of some terrific Los Angeles Lakers team. Hudson's pass deflected. 3:17 remaining in this first quarter. The Magic 27 and the Bucks 18. This game 4 of this best-of-5 opening round series. Bucks are hoping to close things out. Magic trying to take it back to a 5th game in Milwaukee, which will be played on Thursday night. Tracy McGrady with the shot clock running down.
Now this has not been a good matchup for Milwaukee with Robinson playing McGrady. I thought George Paul might come out and put Thomas on him unless Thomas is too banged up to stay with McGrady off the dribble. Remember, he took a real hard fall. He had a dislocated shoulder. He had a bad back and then a hard fall in game 3. So Thomas is a banged up player right now.
Foul on Miller, his second. The Magic now over the foul limit. And Irvin Johnson will shoot 2. Johnson only a 54% free throw shooter. He is captain of the Bucks in his 8th season out of New Orleans. 4th year with Milwaukee. Played 3 years with Seattle. 1 with Denver. Played for George Karl in Seattle. Crowd reacts as Darrell Armstrong, who took that hard hit just a couple of minutes ago, went down, was pulled from the game, now makes his return, replacing Miller. The Magic 29 and the Bucks 20.
We see Ray Allen now on McGrady, and for Milwaukee, that's probably been the best matchup for them because of quickness, size, and Allen gets underneath, gets into McGrady, which bothers him a little bit.
DeClerc with the rebound. DeClerc again and is fouled. A very active Andrew DeClerc here in the first quarter.
Doc Rivers is doing a good job riding Andrew DeClerc. He's on the floor now, 9 minutes. He scored 9 points, or 6 points already for them on the glass with 2 or 3 rebounds. He's got his 2 personal fouls, and Rivers is staying with him while he's going good.
During the regular season, he averaged just under 4 points per game. He's looking for his 7th point of this first quarter. Only a 57% free throw shooter. Andrew DeClerc in his 6th NBA season out of the University of Florida. He's played for Golden State, Boston, Cleveland, prior to coming to Orlando. As I mentioned, not a good foul shooter, but a break for the Magic. McGrady now being played by Thomas. McGrady with the swing away. McGrady coming up short. McGrady keeps it alive. McGrady with the save. They get the new shot clock. And Tracy McGrady hearing it from the crowd. Hudson for 3. The Clark on the rebound, but a loose ball foul. I had to have a feeling there was nobody around. Andrew DeClerc, he kind of cleared things out.
He made sure nobody was around, and McGrady makes sure that the Magic get one more shot at the basket by going into the crowd to save that ball as it's on its way out.
Andrew DeClerc, here's the applause. Just picked up his 3rd foul, but a very strong first quarter for DeClerc. He had 6 points, couple of rebounds. It's Michael Goliak coming on for DeClerc.
I'll think back a second ago what we said. We said Glenn Robinson was guarding McGrady. Then we said Ray Allen was guarding McGrady. And then we said Tim Thomas was guarding McGrady. So in this series, you saw 3 different defenders on him. They're certainly taking their turn trying to wear down Tracy McGrady.
Here, Kenny Smith coming up with a nickname last night in the studio for Tracy McGrady. Called him the problem child. I think that means worse. I know your parents told me that's what they still call you. The problem child. I think Kenny has to go back to the drawing board.
Kenny's usually pretty good at that. I thought
that's a little off for him.
A little more creative than Kenny.
And do better. Armstrong. Lindsey Hunter on the floor for the first time for the Bucks. Hunter and Cassell at the guards. And McGrady comes up with a turnover. Hudson takes all the way. The Magic leading by 10 with a minute 20 to go in this first quarter.
This is the play that seems to be one of the most effective for Milwaukee. Allen in the middle of the floor, give him a high pick and roll, let him turn the corner, shoot a jumper, or create for someone else.
Well, Thomas is hacked.
Foul on number 51, Mike Doliak.
Foul on Doliak.
His first penalty situation.
And Tim Thomas will shoot 2. Thomas is 77% free throw shooter. Jason Caffey, so effective in game number 2 of this series, providing a rest for Sam Cassell. Tracy McGrady will sit down, replaced by Pat Garrity, who's had the hot hand from 3-point range. Tracy McGrady with 8 points, 4 of 7 from the field, and 2 assists.
I think the Magic try to double team the ball coming. Okay. Next time down with McGrady out of the game, I'm looking for the Magic to go into one of their presses. I thought their team had given their signal they were going into the press next time down. We'll see. Okay.
And Hudson had it knocked away. I think you've been watching too many practices, Dan.
I have watched a couple of practices. Picked up a few signals.
I know it. Stealing plays, filing them away for the future.
Go get him, Mike.
Shot clock is down to 6. And the foul is called on Hunter. So now both teams are over the foul limit. These two coaches have been sparring with each other.
Yes, they verbally sparring in the newspapers.
Bucks claiming that the Magic have been delivering cheap shots. The Magic saying the same of Milwaukee. Also, George Karl making the point that it drives him crazy that he has an assistant coach, Terry Stotts, on his staff. He says he feels he's more qualified to be a head coach than Doc Rivers.
George believes in people putting time in, working your way up the ladder.
Well, Doc had the right answer. He played 13 years in the NBA.
He said if George had played 13 years in the NBA, maybe he would have got a head coaching job. They have writers helping him out, obviously.
Trying to touch a nerve. 25 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Not to say that Terry Stotts is not qualified to be head coach. He's one of the top assistants for the Bucks. Here's Garrity. And Armstrong for three. Joe DeRosa blowing his whistle after Armstrong knocked down the three and then checking over at the scorer's table. Apparently made an adjustment on the clock. So 11 and a half seconds remaining in this first quarter. Armstrong 3 of 3 from downtown. 14-point Orlando lead. Final seconds. Nice pass from Allen, but Caffey lost sight of the time. And this place has exploded after one. It's the Magic 36. The Bucks 22. The Bucks have missed their last 6 shots. They have not come up with a field goal in the last 6 minutes and 12 seconds. We'll be right back. We are back in Orlando, although Tracy McGrady has been able to get off to a good start. He has had some help.
Well, they wanted to get Mike Miller off early tonight, and from the first shot of the game for Miller, he knocks it down, which gives him that extra confidence. Instead of just shooting jumpers, he takes it strong to the basket. Talk about energy. Mr. Energy for this team is Darrell Armstrong. When he's making threes, this team usually has a high level of success. So when you talk about the 36 first quarter points, of the 36, the other players for the Magic, besides Tracy McGrady, combined for 28 of those.
Doc Rivers has been able to rest McGrady. Irvin Johnson gets inside, and the Magic with a 36-24 lead as the second quarter gets underway. Goliak not even looking for the shot. Goliak up front with Garrity and Outlaw. 8 rebounds for Bo Outlaw. Armstrong and Hudson in the back. Here's Goliak. Rejected by Thomas, who came over to help. Thomas sets up for 3. Armstrong for Garrity. Hudson with a teardrop by Troy Hudson. And Orlando now leads 38-24. The Magic 14 of 25 from the field in the first quarter, shooting 56%.
It'll be interesting to watch right now for Orlando as Goliak gets the steal and the breakaway for Michael Goliak. What I was about to say was it's going to be interesting with this unit on the floor for Orlando to see how they score their points. Well, if their defense plays the way they just did, they'll find ways to score. But really, Troy Hudson is the one guy on the floor that can break people down off the dribble and create shots for others.
The Orlando bench enjoying that lumbering breakaway by Michael Goliak. Foul is called as Hudson took the hit. This is, we should point out, not slow motion.
No, that's full speed for Michael. One of those big, strong guys. And actually what happened is Lindsey Hunter tried to cross over dribble and split Goliak stepping out to help. He dribbled the ball right into Goliak's right leg.
It is a 15-point Orlando lead. This building rocking right from the start. Doc Rivers' team came out sky high. They shot well. They have a 14-point advantage. And the Magic able to rest Tracy McGrady. Armstrong for 3. Armstrong keeps it alive. Here's Garrity. Yes, that's a 2-pointer. Rare 2-pointer for Pat Garrity, who in 3 games is 10 of 16 from downtown.
Bo Outlaw hustles excellent. Just got his hand on the ball, batted it back out for another shot attempt. And a nice lead lob that time by Lindsey Hunter to Ray Allen, who had cut along the baseline for the lob pass.
Joliak. Garrity with the hustle, but he stepped on the baseline. The ball back to Milwaukee. Now Darvin Ham will check back in for the Bucks, replacing Irvin Johnson. Milwaukee with a backcourt of Hunter and Allen. They have Ham, Caffey, and Thomas on the front line. Allen with a nice fake and hits Ray Allen with 12 points.
Troy Hudson went down that time. He landed on his ankle as he went up to challenge the jump shot. They're going to try and double this ball before they can get the timeout.
Hudson taking a shot just a moment ago. It's been a tough first half for the Orlando backcourt between Hudson and Armstrong. Feeling some hard body blows. So with the timeout, we'll take the break. Pick up by 12 or early second quarter with Troy Hudson now helped back to the Orlando locker room. We'll have a report as soon as we're able to check things out. The absence of D. Brown is even more significant.
Well, this is during the third period of game number 3. Brown is ready to check in the game, but suddenly the altercation takes place in front of the Magic bench. You see Brown comes out onto the court, starts drifting down, works his way towards the crowd, and actually winds up just about 4 feet from the baseline. I talked to Stu Jackson today, director of basketball operations for the NBA. He said, look, this is a hard decision to make, but it's cut and dry. A week ago, Stacey Augmon wandered out on the floor. We suspended him. The court is for the 10 players and coaches. If something breaks out, we cannot have players out on the floor. The Magic had 6. Milwaukee had 5 when that broke out. That's why he was suspended.
D. Brown suspended for tonight's game for leaving the scorer's table during that third quarter scuffle. And the Bucks are out within 10 off the bucket by Thomas McGrady. Back on the floor and fouled by Caffey. Over 3 games in this series, Tracy McGrady has averaged just under 37 points per game, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, and playing 45 minutes a game, and has done a good job against Big Dog Robinson. It's a non-shooting foul, so Orlando just puts it in play. John Amici is on the floor for the first time. Here's Garrity for 3. Thomas being played by Garrity. Caffey. The cell. Oh, he had nowhere to go. That was costly.
And credit Tracy McGrady. As Cassell went to the basket, McGrady stepped up 1 step, looked like he was going to go after the block shot as Cassell tried to shoot it, and then actually backed off and anticipated the passing lane.
Intended for McGrady. The official at the baseline, Joe DeRosa looking for help. Joe Crawford had the better angle and said last touch by Orlando.
Well, the team right there of officials checking with each other to make sure they try and get the call correct. Not a bad decision to look at your teammate as an official and see if he's got a better angle or better look at it.
Thomas with a hard driving move. Couple of buckets by Tim Thomas. And 8:01 for the Bucks, and suddenly they are within 8 after trailing by as many as 16. A 20-second timeout taken by the Magic. So 7.5 to go in this first half. Now they've changed it to a full timeout. It's the Magic 42, the Bucks 34.
Sports drinks.
Match their energy. The loose balls, the long rebounds, the hustle points right now, they're flooding it, and that's getting their confidence. I don't think basketball-wise there's anything out there that we can't figure out, but you got to get on the level of intensity right now. You got to be a man out there and go to fucking work. I mean, right now, they got energy, they got confidence coming from everybody. But you got to make stops, you got to make hustle plays back.
Well, this is cable television, Czar.
Yeah,
we're blushing.
I think George sounded like it is. He did.
The Magic up by 8. 7.5 remaining in this first half. Here's McGrady. McGrady is blocked on the follow. Miller for 3. Let's check in with Carol Miller. Has some more on the Troy Hudson injury.
Along with D. Brown, obviously out of tonight's game because of the suspension. The Magic might have got some really bad news on Troy Hudson. Came down on Ray Allen's foot. Badly sprained left foot. He is most likely not to return. And Mike, my question to you, do you start using Tracy McGrady now, running him at the point, now that you're down to just 1 point guard with Darrell Armstrong?
Well, in the third and fourth quarter, the ball wound up in Tracy McGrady's hands of game 3, probably 90% of the time. So it's not a problem as far as running the show through McGrady, but puts a lot of pressure on him.
His outlaw breaking down. Beautiful lead pass from Armstrong. And the Magic back to a 10-point lead.
You know, you also have a guy like Bo Outlaw who can bring the ball down the floor. You're just thinking about running some clock and buying some time, and you're worried about McGrady getting some rest and Armstrong's injury. Bo Outlaw has brought the ball down the floor in the past.
Here's Thomas. Thomas on the follow. Thomas has played well. That's 6 points for Thomas, and Orlando up by 8. And now you see Tracy McGrady is handling the ball. Armstrong running to by Thomas.
This is a point guard trying to set a screen on a 6'10 player, and a 6'10 player wants the point guard to know that he's too small to be out there setting screens on him. So he just kind of tries to run through him.
And it's called a flagrant foul on Thomas. It's very unusual to see a foul away from the ball in that manner. Called a flagrant. But I would think the officials, coming off what we saw in game 3, where a motion for riding high, 6 technicals were called, and all quite a bit of verbal warfare taking place between these two clubs. So the flagrant was called on Thomas.
Well, they obviously must have felt that Thomas put a little too much oomph as he ran into Armstrong and laid him on the floor.
Just under 6 remaining in the first half. Armstrong rejected by Caffey. Cassell pushing it. Here's Thomas. And a foul. Outlaw hits the floor. Oh, Thomas spiking it in the direction of Bo Outlaw. And a technical foul is called on Tim Thomas. And that was the correct call. He didn't try to hit him, but that's a taunt. He spiked it in the direction of Outlaw, who was on the floor.
Well, to be honest, I was looking at Bo Outlaw after he landed. He was hurt. He got hurt when he hit the ground that time, so I was looking over at him. I did not see that take place.
Armstrong will shoot the technical. There's no question about that call. All right, here's another look at it.
The Outlaw right there gets hurt as he goes down, and then Thomas with the basketball turns and looks back and takes the ball and kind of drops it on the floor at him in the direction.
A little kick also.
And you were much more emphatic than he was throwing the ball, man. I'll tell you that.
And Thomas hears it from the crowd. You think he should not have had a technical foul?
I think
well, look at the atmosphere, the climate of this playoff series.
You asked me, I said, no, I don't think you don't think so.
All right. Meanwhile, Thomas has scored the last 8 points for the Bucks. So you're saying, in effect, anything goes?
No holds barred.
Here's Don Reed, who just came on. Nice pass from McGrady, who comes up hobbling. Tracy McGrady trying to play through it. The Magic up by 11 as we come up on 5 minutes left in the half. Thomas rejected by Reed. Wild pass thrown, not a good pass.
They weren't sure who that was to. Was it to Reed or McGrady? They couldn't make a decision.
Oh, Outlaw picks up the foul on the fake by Cassell.
And he picks up a shot in his chest as well. His wife, Bo, is holding his chest as he walks off.
That's 3 on Outlaw. So 3 apiece now on Outlaw and the clerk. Sam Cassell to the line. He's 1 for 2 at the line. Sam has been quiet, just 5 points. A reminder, coming up next on TBS, the Jazz and the Mavericks. That'll be game 2 of our doubleheader. Kevin Harlan, John Thompson, Danny Ainge will have it for you. Pat Garrity back on the floor for the Magic. So Armstrong, Miller in the backcourt. Here's Reed, and he's fouled. Reed is up front now with McGrady and Garrity, and Don Reed will go to the line.
And Don Reed is one of the players that Doc Rivers has been hoping would emerge and give him some kind of presence on the inside. And Doc has searched himself with substitutions. You'll see Amici go in. You'll see Reed go in. Doliak go in, trying to find which one of those players might have an effect on the game that particular night.
Don Reed, also a shaky free throw shooter. Out of Georgetown, he spent 4.5 years with Detroit. Last year with the Pistons, and the Wizards signed with Orlando as a free agent. He was team captain as a senior with the Hoyas of Georgetown, and Casella's hit on a reach-in foul. Foul on Armstrong, his first.
Up until tonight, Don Reed has only played a total of 8 minutes in this series. As I mentioned, Rivers looks at him. If they get it going, they stay on the floor. If they're struggling or not producing or not going after the ball, they sit back down again.
Cassell lost it and then recovers. Robinson. Oh, the reverse by Thomas. And the crowd reacts to the theatrics by Tim Thomas after that bucket. Here's Miller penetrating. Back comes Cassell. Allen for 3. Ray Allen from downtown, and the Bucks are within 5.
As the game has gotten more physical, the Bucks have started to respond now. They're playing their best basketball in this last stretch when things have really heated up.
Ray Allen, 5 of 6 from the field. He has 15 points. Just under 4 to go in this first half. Miller intercepting that pass intended for Reed. Now they double on McGrady. Garrity, shot blocked by Thomas. Been a terrific all-around first half for Tim Thomas, who fires for 3. Rebounded by Reed. 4 on 2. McGrady to Garrity. Serving up a facial on Glenn Robinson. Timeout called by George Karl. 3:26 to go in this first half. It's the Magic by 7. Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, Peter Vesey with first half analysis from our game, and Peter will go behind the scenes, or behind the screens, as he likes to say, and as he has corrected us for me. With a look at the Blazers coaching situation, Portland eliminated, embarrassed in a 3-game sweep by the Los Angeles Lakers. Peter will have a look behind the screens at halftime. Robinson, who has been quiet after the fast start, is fouled. Foul committed by McGrady. That's his first.
And the teams have become very physical now on the defensive end of the floor. They're starting to take away cuts from the cutters. Armstrong rode Allen all the way along the baseline. And then Robinson very assertive as McGrady was trying to hold his ground. Robinson, that's the strongest move I've seen him make inside against McGrady.
Scott Williams back. Tim Thomas hearing it. The crowd as he sits down picked up a technical, got a flagrant foul. He's been fined $5,000. That announced earlier today for making an obscene gesture towards fans. That took place here in the third quarter of Game 3 on Saturday night. Shot clock down to 6. Miller rejected by Johnson.
Miller had gotten past Robinson, but Johnson saved the layup that time.
Tracy McGrady enjoying this matchup with Sam Cassell. Robinson backing his way on Miller.
Not the same fear as when McGrady's there challenging the shot with Mike Miller on him. That time Robinson knew he could go up over the top and score the basket.
But the Bucks have turned things around. They're within 3. They're in the midst of a 23-10 run with 2:20 left in the first half. Now McGrady being played by Allen. Tracy McGrady too long and lean for Ray Allen. Able to shoot over him. That's his first points in some 12.5 minutes. Has not been looking for the shot.
Remember, McGrady's averaging 32 shots a game in this 3-game series. That was just his 10th field goal attempt this game.
And Glenn Robinson having no problem with Mike Miller. 54-51 Orlando. They've led by as many as 16. Oh, nice ball by Don Reed. The Magic lead back to 5. But a good shooting first half for both teams. Orlando at 49%. Milwaukee at 47. Robinson from deep. Johnson with the rebound. Jim Clark lost his whistle. He's called a technical foul. Sam Cassell actually was trying to help Clark retrieve the whistle, and I think he regrets it because the T has been handed out on the Bucks.
And a technical foul on number 40, Irvin Johnson.
The technical that time was called on Irvin Johnson.
Personal foul on Garrity.
I think it was the swinging there of the elbow at the end where he called the technical foul.
And Armstrong able to hit the tee. He now has 13. Darrell Armstrong spending lots of time at the line. So that is the second technical handed out to the Bucks. Tim Thomas earlier. Now Irvin Johnson is also flagrant against Thomas. Johnson only a 54% free throw shooter. A minute 20 left first half. The Magic 57, the Bucks 53. Now McGrady posting. McGrady finding Reed. Oh, what a look from Tracy McGrady.
Well, he has such a complete game. He has such a high skill level, whether it's handling the ball, seeing open teammates, or creating and making shots. He is a very, very blessed and talented young man.
Don Reed playing well. Came up with a block shot. Sam Cassell claiming that he was fouled. McGrady now 10 points, 5 assists, but has not been looking for the shot. That was the plan of Doc Rivers. We can look for a more assertive McGrady in the second half. Beautiful pass. Cassell for Johnson. And the Bucks can't believe there was not a foul called to send Johnson to the line. The Magic up by 4. McGrady open. And the kick. So it's a 61-55 lead. Monty Williams, who had just checked in, was able to tip it home. Surging to the basket along with Don Reed. It counts and the foul. Sam Cassell. What an action-packed first half this has been.
Well, what happened is Monty Williams and McGrady were trying to straighten out who's playing who, and as Williams was turning his head, Cassell said, wait a minute, I got the lane. Let me just take it down the middle, lay it up, and then Williams too late behind, and the foul.
In for the Magic, number 51, Mike.
Now, this is the one that Cassell makes a terrific feed. He feels here that Irvin Johnson was fouled. He tried to go down and explain to the officials that there it is, should have been a three-point play. Make the foul call. Sam trying to do it all. Score, pass, play defense, and officiate.
Crawford trying to unravel things with 16 seconds remaining in this first half. And Darrell Armstrong right at the bottom of the pile. Someone landed on his hip.
Foul number 42, Scott Williams.
Foul on Scott Williams. You mentioned Doc Rivers loves to shuffle. He has used his entire roster. All 11 players available. D. Brown sitting out with suspension. So all 11 have already played here in the first half.
Well, he keeps searching for the guy on that particular night that is ready to play, is stepping up and giving him that high energy and productivity. He got a good performance from Andrew DeClerc when DeClerc was on the floor to start out the game. DeClerc picks up his third foul, 6 points, 4 rebounds, so then Rivers goes to Doliak, then he goes to Amici, then he goes to Reed as the other big man.
Reed has played well. Reed sitting down right now. Final seconds of the half. McGrady for Doliak. McGrady with the rebound. And time has run out.
Mark, this will be the first time that the Orlando Magic go in at the half with the lead in this series.
The Magic leading by 4. They led by as many as 16. Darrell Armstrong, the high man for Orlando, 13 points, also has 6 assists. Tracy McGrady, 10 points, 5 assists. Ray Allen with 15 for Milwaukee. Let's go to Cheryl with Darrell Armstrong.
Darrell, if there were any questions on who was going to step up and fill the void left by D. Brown's suspension, you had several players certainly do that.
Yeah, we had a lot of guys step up. Don Reed came off the bench and brought us energy. Pat Garrett and Mike Doliak. Even Mike Miller stepped up and he brought some scoring to our team. But this team is going to continue to play with hard and hustle. And in the fourth quarter, we're going to turn T-Mac loose. And we're going to let him go ahead and do his thing.
Potentially no Troy Hudson in the second half because of that badly sprained ankle. How much pressure does that put on the backcourt?
It'll put a lot on us. But, you know, hey, we've been through so many things this year, so much adversity that it doesn't even bother us. So, you know, that's the way we play. And that's what I like about our team.
All right, good luck in the second half, Darrell. Let's go back to you, Marvin. Mike?
Thank you, Cheryl. The Orlando Magic hoping to bring it to a 5th and final game of the series back in Milwaukee on Thursday. The Bucks would love to close things out. The Magic by 4 at half. Let's go to the studio. Here's Ernie Johnson.
All right, thank you very much, Marv. It is the AT&T halftime report. Ernie Johnson, Peter Vesey, Kenny the Jet Smith, male model. It is 61-57. That goes back to last night's Inside the NBA. I guess you don't want to be reminded of that. 61-57. The Magic came flying out of the gate in this game, a survival game for them, Peter. Up 36-22 after 1. Why'd they get out so quick?
You know, what it seems so obvious to me is that they have total disrespect for the Magic. The Bucks, yeah. They just don't feel like they've got any worthy competition out there. Until the second quarter, they decided to wake up. They were bogarted and bullied that whole first quarter. And I think they came into this whole series saying to themselves, you know, this is going to be a tune-up. This is not a test. Well, guess what? It's a test.
It is 61-57 at the half. Kenny.
Well, I think you saw in the first quarter, too, that the role players or the loose change guys from Milwaukee were really outplayed by the Orlando Magic. Bo Outlaw, Mike Miller, Andrew DeClerc. They came in, they had solid contributions, and that was probably the biggest difference. And even though Tracy McGrady had a good first half, he was in the dominant one in that first quarter.
Tracy McGrady, 10 points at the half. Remember, went for 42 in Game 3. In fact, he's upped his career playoff high in each of the 3 games so far in this season. 10 points at the half. They're up 61-57. When we come back, we're going behind the screens with Peter. One topic I know we'll talk about, Mike Dunleavy's future in Portland. That and more when we come back.
The AT&T Halftime Report is brought to you by AT&T, proud sponsor of the NBA.
Nearly 3/4 of them.
Seriously, man, what's your real name?
It's Trey Winger.
Trey Winger.
A 73-degree overcast day in the Magic Kingdom. Steve Saw very upset, not able to work on his tan this afternoon. Marv Albert with Mike Fratello and Cheryl Miller. Well, the Orlando Magic leading right throughout the first half, led by as many as 16. Tracy McGrady, 10 points, 5 assists, seemed to be more intent on getting the rest of the club involved.
Well, Tracy McGrady, going back to game 3 at halftime, had just 11 points, but wound up with 42. And we heard Darrell Armstrong say that in the second half, particularly in the fourth quarter, the ball's going to Tracy to let him do his thing. Let's look at the other players, the supporting cast who wound up helping out in the first half for the Orlando Magic. You got Miller and Armstrong pulled up for a 3. Andrew DeTurk, who started out and had a big first quarter to get the Magic going. And then Don Reed wound up chipping in, goes to the basket. The supporting group, 19 for 38 from the floor, 50% for the Magic. We can see each of those 4 players above what they have averaged in this series already in the first half.
All right, moments ago, Cheryl talked with Bucks head coach George Karl.
Coach, you're only down by 4. Did you like the pace of the first half, and are you surprised at how close the officials are calling the game?
I thought we got the reaction foul a couple times on the technicals, but, you know, I think the game, they're going to keep the game under control. The pace is great, except we're not defending as well as I'd like to. I'd like to see us make some defensive stops before the game's over, but being 4 down with as poorly as I think we played, I think we're in good shape.
It's got to be a really good sign that the big dog got off to a great start in the first half.
Yeah, you know, Dog's a great player and is a great scorer, and every once in a while he has some bad nights, so I'm glad he's on the rhythm tonight.
All right, good luck in the second half, Coach. Let's go back to you, Marvin. Mike?
All right, thanks, Cheryl. Glenn Robinson, 5 of 11. He had 12 points in the first half. Ray Allen leading the Bucks with 15. Tim Thomas, very strong half, off the bench for 11. It's Milwaukee ball as this third quarter gets underway. Cassell for 3. Sam Cassell from downtown. He now has 12, and the Bucks are within 1.
At halftime, just a 1-rebound advantage for Milwaukee. They come out immediately and start to go back as Cassell picks it off. Sam will go back in and dish it off to Glenn Robinson for the easy 2.
Sam Cassell with an unselfish play to set it up for big dog Glenn Robinson. For the first time tonight, the Bucks have the lead. Forced pass from Miller. Here comes Allen. Challenged by Miller, and the foul call.
And George Karl just mentioned to Cheryl that he'd like to see his team come out and get some stops, and they've started out with defensive stops here in the last 2 possessions. The pitch ahead pass, Miller trying to stop the layup, the contact, Allen goes to the line for 2.
Ray Allen, one of the best free throw shooters in the NBA, coming off 2 stellar performances. 27 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists in Milwaukee in game 2, and in the overtime loss here on Saturday, he had 27 to equal his playoff career high. The Bucks take a 64-61 lead. McGrady over Ham, and a foul is called.
Quiet 15 points for Ray Allen in the first half. Quietly shoots 5 for 6 from the floor, 1 for 4 from the foul line, comes up with a couple rebounds.
Darvin Ham called for the foul. His second. So McGrady with 2 shots. So look at tonight's American Express leaderboard. Tracy McGrady, high point man in the playoffs, at 36.7 coming into tonight. Now, this series should end tonight, and if McGrady scores at least 40, he'll set an NBA playoff record for most points scored in a 4-game series. The scoring record for a 5-game series, should things go 5, is seemingly out of reach. Michael Jordan averaged 45 per game in a 5-game set back in 1988. 45 points a game. Cassell for 3 again.
That's 2 3-pointers for Cassell, the result of an offensive rebound, kicking it back out again, giving him second chance points.
A big 3 very much alive for the Bucks here tonight. Miller from downtown. And it's a 1-point Milwaukee lead. Allen beating Miller along the baseline. Ham tried to change up the shot, but drew the foul. Darvin Ham, 2 for 4 at the line. Bo Outlaw has picked up his 4th. Darvin Ham is, we have discussed, just a 59% free throw shooter. An injury-hit season for Ham. Played only 29 games during the regular season, starting 13 times. So it's the Bucks by 1 after Orlando led throughout the first half. They double up on Armstrong. Ham coming over to deflect it out of bounds.
You see Milwaukee being a little more aggressive with that pick and roll situation rather than trying to show and get over or slide and go through. That time they decided to go jump the basketball hard early. Then they would have had to rotate to McGrady.
Pat Garrity has come on for Bo Outlaw. Just picked up his 4th. Shot clock at 7. Here's McGrady. Armstrong able to get to it, and Garrity is fouled by Cassell.
Boy, the fans love it. They're standing right now. The players are on the floor. They understand the importance of each possession in this basketball game.
McGrady, played by Ham, takes baseline and throws out. Miller gets 3-pointer from Mike Miller. The Magic leading by 2. Scott Williams is fouled. Grabbed by Andrew DeClerc, who just picked up his 4th. The Bucks roaring back down court on the transition.
You can really see a difference in Mike Miller's last 2 shots, Marv. He's extending with the shooting hand. He's getting it up and out instead of just coming down low with it and straight out. He's getting a little bit of that arc that you need to get the ball over the front of the rim. McGrady draws the 2 defenders. Watch the reach up and out. It's a beautiful follow through. He has such a sweet stroke.
Miller now has 15 points. He's 3 for 3 from 3-point land. The game is tied at 69. Robinson switching off on McGrady, trying to set it up. Pass intended for Reed. Last touch by the Bucks. That was deflected out.
What Orlando has done now is they've changed. Instead of letting the point guard play pick and roll McGrady, they're putting Garrity into the pick and roll. Basic 3-4 pick and roll, and Milwaukee switching that.
There's Garrity. Yes. Pat Garrity continues the good shooting. The Magic 71, Bucks 69. Cassell draws the foul. And Sam Cassell able to take that lead pass off the double. Foul on Reed, who just checked in, replacing DeClerc. And Cassell will shoot a pair. He's 3 of 5 at the line. Sam only 7 of 23 from the field here on Saturday night, but had a career-high 16-rebound game. Coming up next, right here on TBS, the Jazz and the Mavericks, Game 2 of our doubleheader.
Again, a series of pick and rolls by Orlando. The pick and roll gets them the switch or puts the player in the best situation they feel to get a shot, create a shot for someone else.
McGrady. 14 points for Tracy McGrady. Here's Allen. So the game is tied at 73.
Both of those players, they just shoot the jump shot with so little effort. They elevate so high on it, and then it's such an easy stroke for them.
Allen now 6 of 8. McGrady. And we have a shooting duel between Ray Allen and Tracy McGrady. Here comes Allen. He fires and hits for 3. So Allen with a 2-point jumper and a 3. McGrady with a couple of jump shots. And the Bucks lead by 1. Now McGrady. McGrady on the drive. And he'll go to the line.
Robinson switches on to McGrady. As McGrady changes sides of the floor, he gets the matchup that he wants, goes by Robinson, forces the next defender to step up again. It's a matter now of changing direction, going past Robinson. Once he goes by him, now Williams steps up to try and draw the offensive foul. Instead, he's called for the block.
Tracy 2 of 3 at the line. The Magic 11 of 16 at the free throw line. The Bucks at 24 for 33 over the first 2 games. Doc Rivers upset. He felt that Tracy McGrady should have gone to the line more frequently. Well, he went to the line 18 times in game 3 and unusually misses 2 in a row. Cassell, yes. And the Bucks are on fire.
Yeah, I want to mention the last time he missed 2 in a row happened to be in game 3. They would have had a 5-point lead in overtime. McGrady went to the line, missed 2 big ones there.
McGrady to the fade. Kept alive by Reed, but it's a backcourt violation.
Well, McGrady wasn't hit on his arm that time. That was the worst looking shot I've ever seen McGrady. It was a line driver 4 feet under the rim.
That's exactly what Doc Rivers is pointing out, looking for that hacking call. But McGrady threw the double and went at the double team, and you can see that Tracy is now offensive-minded in this third quarter. Cassell, yes. Sam Cassell, who has been a premier clutch performer, a member of 2 NBA championship teams with the Houston Rockets. Offensive foul. It's on Orlando. It's on Reed. That's his second, and you get the feeling that things are turning here. The Bucks came out strong at the start of the third. They lead by 5, and they have the ball.
During the regular season, the big 3 from Milwaukee averaged a little over 62 points per game when you combine their averages. Right now, at this point in the game, they have 57 points between them.
Foul on Armstrong. And Orlando over the limit early here in the third quarter. Doc Rivers in an animated conversation with the official Jim Clark.
Well, Doc can feel the momentum shift just like everyone else can right now. He sees what's happening, so he may feel it's time for him to step up, maybe become a little bit stronger in voicing his opinions here. He may have to take a technical foul here to get this thing turned, try and help his team turn it back around again.
Bucks up by 7. It's their biggest lead of the game. They've already scored 25 points in this third quarter. Cassell with 14 of the 25. Reed is fouled by hand.
Milwaukee attacks the ball at half court. They go up there with their little half court trap by double teaming it. Orlando's completely ready for it. They're in their positions. Armstrong takes the double team. They hit right to the middle of the floor eventually, which is where they want to start from. And then Reed takes it strong to the basket. He's got shooters spotted up in each corner so they can go a number of different directions once they hit the middle.
John Reed only a 61% free throw shooter, 1 for 3 here tonight. 82-76, Milwaukee.
Yes, both teams now will be shooting bonus for the remainder of this period.
Charlotte Hornets are waiting in the wings, coming off their 3-game sweep for the Miami Heat. And the ball back to Orlando.
It's one of those games where you see the players actually search out the man that they're supposed to be blocking out to put his body on, because they understand the importance of the rebound game here in the playoffs.
Robinson now switching off, defending on Armstrong. Here's the mismatch. Garrity going against Cassell. Pat Garrity has had a very strong playoff series. That's 8 points tonight for Garrity. Bucks up by 4, just under 6 to go in the third. Cassell. Doc Williams gets the new 24. Robinson set the pick for Cassell. Nice play by Armstrong. Here's McGrady.
Ray Allen guessed the wrong way. He thought that Darrell Armstrong was going to throw it to the right wing. Instead, Armstrong thread the needle right through and hit McGrady out in front. Allen had already turned in the opposite direction.
Orlando within 2. Scott Williams. Brilliant. And that's his first field goal. The Bucks 84. The Magic 80.
Back to game number 1. Scott Williams 8 for 11 from the floor in game number 1. 19 points and 16 rebounds.
Miller passed on the 3 to set up the better shot. The Bucks by 2. Oh, look out. Cassell went down. And Miller is shaken out. Scott Williams able to finish. Mike Miller is hurt off that collision with Cassell.
He's got the wind knocked out of him. He'll be fine.
Cassell for Ham, and he is fouled. Clobbered. Darvin Ham's been a major factor here. Did not play the first couple of games of the series. The flagrant foul that's called. A flagrant foul. Doc Rivers very upset. Jim Clark calling a flagrant.
I think Doc Rivers, I think Jim Clark feels that Don Reed went after the player's body and not the basketball as they went up for the block. You have to see Reed come in now. Does he play? There's the head, hand on the head, pulls him down to the ground. Good call by Jim Clark.
Timeout taken, 4:12 left in the third. The Bucks up by 4. 12 left in the third quarter, and this third quarter has belonged to Sam Cassell. 14 of his 23 coming here in the third.
Yeah, Cassell loves to shoot that medium-range jumper. Occasionally he goes deep behind the three-point line, but down on the baseline against smaller guards, he loves to get to that 14-foot mark, and then he's deadly from that area. Cassell, 23 points, 5 assists.
And a look at tonight's Home Depot game summary. The Bucks at 52%. The Magic shooting 53%. You see the discrepancy at the foul line. The Bucks 35 trips. Orlando's gone over the line 19 times. That's the flagrant free throws for Darvin Ham.
Now, Milwaukee is shooting 52% for the game right now. Up to this point, the Magic have held them to 41% shooting after the first 3 games. So this team that shoots as well as Milwaukee doesn't score as easy as they do. Eventually, they're going to have one of those nights where they're making shots and more than just one guy.
Well, the Buck bench greeting Darvin Ham after he hit the 2 free throws, and Ham sits down, replaced by Tim Thomas. So the Bucks, with the 2 foul shots, are now possession off that flagrant call. Thomas, who had a superb second quarter, being played by Reed. Here's Thomas. Rebounded by McGrady.
Garrity found Scott Williams, put his body on him. He may not come up with the rebound, but he didn't let Williams keep it alive on the glass.
McGrady now being played by Thomas. Miller's had the hot hand. Guarded by Allen. McGrady Cassell. Nice touch pass. Good ball movement by the Bucks. They have to reset, though. A lot of time on the clock. Scott Williams driving his way. Strong move by Williams.
Every time you see Scott Williams call for an isolation, he had the ball, looked up, knew he had 12 seconds, told the rest of them, get out of here, give me this side of the floor, turns, faces, goes one-on-one.
Biggest lead of the night for Milwaukee, up by 8. McGrady, yes, and it counts. $20 points for Tracy McGrady. The foul was called on Tim Thomas.
And now McGrady upping his shot total. He has 18 field goal attempts. He's 9 for 18 from the floor for 20 points right now.
He did miss his previous 2 free throws. 2 out of 5 at the line. 5-point Milwaukee lead. 3 minutes remaining in the third. The Bucks hoping to wrap this series. Orlando trying to take it to a game 5 in Milwaukee. Allen trying to stuff it and was stopped. McGrady played by Robinson. Here's McGrady. Yes. It's down to a 3-point Milwaukee lead.
They have to remind you that in game 2, McGrady went for 20 straight points for the Magic.
McGrady with 13 of his 23 here on the third. Scott Williams. Coming up on 2 minutes to go. In the third, McGrady has scored the last 9 points for Orlando. Gets the pick. Here's the jumper. And back comes Robinson. Broken up by McGrady. Thomas on the recovery is fouled by McGrady. Timeout called by Milwaukee. A minute 55 remaining in the third. The Bucks by 3, but they're headed to the line.
Believe it or not, many online brokers still rely on the technology of yesteryear. Is your online broker even trading online? Data Online, built to trade.
5 seconds to transmission.
Kyle, we're ready to send you back in time. Remember, do not interact with the past. Just observe.
All right, let's go.
What?
He has something.
Don't believe it.
Michael Finley would take that comparison. It's coming up next, the Jazz and the Mavs on TBS. Last time Dallas advanced past the first round, 1988. Similar story here. The Bucks' last playoff series win was back in, I hate to bring it up, 88, 89, when they knocked off Mike Fratello's Atlanta Hawks.
Well, I mentioned that. Well, the good news is he didn't accuse me of coaching in the Dallas series as well. I mean, were you involved? No.
East-West, that's not possible. Well, the point guard was Doc Rivers for those Atlanta Hawks. And the Bucks now lead 92-87. Significant stats passed on by Brian Taylor. The Bucks have not committed a turnover in the last 18 minutes. McGrady off the fake. Robinson went to the floor. And here comes Allen. Lindsey Hunter for 3. Lindsey Hunter with his first field goal extends to a 95-87 lead. McGrady to the left hand. Thomas on the rebound.
McGrady didn't wait that time. He caught it, went quickly before the Bucks defense could adjust.
Nice pass from Hunter and a foul committed by Reed. So Lindsey Hunter off the bench. He's been a three-point specialist. That time Hunter passed on a 3 and cut in and set it up for Urban Johnson. 57 seconds remaining in this third quarter, and Irvin Johnson, a 54% free throw shooter, has hit 4 out of 4 to this point. Make it 5 for 5 for Johnson. Here's Bo Outlaw replacing Darrell Armstrong. Outlaw has 4 fouls. Michael Goliak back on the floor.
You know, Lindsey Hunter's been averaging 21 minutes a game in the first 3 playoff games. Only 10 minutes tonight because Casella's been playing so well. George Karl just go with it.
How about Irvin Johnson at the line? 6 out of 6. In the 10-point Buck lead, their biggest lead of the night. Garrity. Miller for 3. Goliak with the rebound. And Johnson is on it. Nice pass. And the foul committed by Goliak. That'll put Johnson back at the line.
A great presence that time by Thomas. Takes it quickly, goes off the dribble to his left, and then rather than raising up for the jumper, spots his teammate under the basket and drops it off. You think right here he's going to go up over the top of Garrity. Instead, he finds Johnson underneath.
The Bucks have outscored the Magic 40-26 thus far in this third quarter. That's a rare miss tonight for Irvin Johnson. Looking ahead tomorrow night, the Knicks and the Raptors at 8 o'clock Eastern time on TNT. It's expected that Marcus Camby will make his return. Knicks have done a very good job on Vince Carter to this point. On TBS, the Sixers and the Pacers, 9 o'clock start in the East. And following the Knicks and the Raptors, it'll be the Kings and the Suns on TNT. Final seconds, third quarter. Miller, can he get it off in time? He does. And that's the end of the third quarter. And Doc Rivers upset.
Doc's trying to encourage his players. If you have the open shot, that may be the best shot we get for that sequence. Take it if you're open.
Well, the Magic scoreless the last 2.5 minutes. We'll be right back. The Lakers. Hard look at tonight's budget. Rent-A-Car fast break.
A team that's shooting 41% for the series. Milwaukee now shooting 51% in this particular game. A lot of fast break points there for Milwaukee in a playoff game. You can see the free throw attempts. It's been a problem. They have 11 more per game than the Magic coming into tonight. Tonight, they've more than doubled the Magic's free throw attempts.
Milwaukee outscoring Orlando 40-26 in the third quarter. They shot 11 of 19, 58% from the field for the Bucks, and did not turn the ball over. Shot clock down to 4. Good defensive work by the Bucks, and Miller able to get to that loose ball.
I think one of the things Doc had to say to his team in the timeout is, look, we're only down 10 points starting this out. You don't have to try and get it back all at once. It's a long period of time. Get good percentage shots, work the glass, try and get some second shot opportunities, get to the free throw line, pick up points with the clock stopped.
Hunter and Allen in the backcourt. Johnson with Caffey and Thomas up front. Nice double pump by Ray Allen, who has come through with another outstanding game. 24 for Ray.
Yeah, and if the Magic want to get back in this thing, the biggest thing is they've got to start defending better. Milwaukee's having it too easy making shots right now.
Armstrong. Here comes Hunter. Thomas. Try to unload it to Caffey. And a foul is called on Thomas.
Interior passing. Teammates looking for each other underneath. Just can't find the handle at that moment. Caffey loses it out of bounds.
And that's the first turnover of the last 22 minutes for the Bucks. Grady played by Thomas. And a loose ball foul on Johnson as he and DeClerc got involved.
Foul number 40, Irvin Johnson.
That's 3 on Johnson. Tracy McGrady has missed his last 4 shots. A little out of rhythm. Certainly a strong game, but you tend to compare to the 3 previous where he was incredible. Armstrong coming up with the air ball.
There are those who may question whether or not he waited too long to try and assert himself, and now maybe he doesn't have the rhythm that he would have maybe had it. That's all speculation.
It's difficult. We saw Michael Jordan do it, as we discussed earlier, where he could wait it out, look for other people, and then turn it on. Armstrong for 3. And the Magic have gone cold. The Bucks by 10. Looking to conclude matters here tonight in Orlando. Caffey. And back come the Magic. McGrady picked up on the switch. Tripping foul charged to Allen. And that is the 13th foul on the Bucks.
Sometimes just a pass that's a little bit off the mark loses that shot opportunity for your team, especially playoff time. Teams are so well prepared. They're closing out so hard on the shooters. You've got to make good passes to your spot up people so that they can catch and shoot. And they have to be ready with their hands to step in, catch, and shoot an open shot.
As you can see, the Magic struggling. They've hit only 1 of their last 11. Milwaukee's been a decent road team during the regular season, 21-20, 31-10 at home, the best home record in the Eastern Conference, 3rd best overall in the league. Adjustment of the clock. Tracy McGrady will throw in. 3 minutes have gone by in the 4th quarter. The Magic led by 16 at one point of the first half. What a play by Hunter, blocking the jumper by Miller. Here's Hunter, fouled by Miller. Lindsey Hunter landing on his elbow. Lindsey Hunter, who goes, what, 6'1" maybe?
Well, Hunter comes where he knows the ball is going to be released from, gets a piece of it, and now, after he's hit, he doesn't know whether to grab his head first or his elbow first. Head, then elbow as he's on the ground.
Lindsey, in his 8th season out of Jackson State, originally a first-round pick of the Detroit Pistons. Back in 1993, he was acquired over the summer in the deal involving Billy Owens. Terrific 3-point shooter. Had a game against the Knicks back in January where he hit 29 points, 7 from downtown. And the Bucks now lead 101-89. Monty Williams is checked back in for the Magic. So Garrity, Outlaw, Williams up front, McGrady and Armstrong in the backcourt. Here's Outlaw. Changed it up as he saw the presence of Irvin Johnson, the foul on Johnson. And a timeout taken. 8:47 remaining in the 4th.
Welcome back, where the Bucks have a comfortable 12-point lead, and someone who is breathing a huge sigh of relief is Flo Allen, Ray Allen's mother, and she's here with the family members. And first of all, Flo, you got to feel good about this lead so far. And talk about Ray coming into tonight's game. How relaxed was he?
Ray was very relaxed, and the thing coming in tonight, I mean, last night we all went out to dinner. He wouldn't go with us because he wanted to be focused tonight. Ray's a great player, so he just wanted to make sure that when he came in tonight that he had everything to give to his team, you know, and he's not. It's been so much trash talking throughout the series, but Ray knows that he doesn't have to talk about anything. All he has to do is put it on the court.
Last year they got so close to beating Indiana, take it all the way down to a game 5. Sorry about that. But this year, what was his focus? What advice did you give him coming into this playoff series?
Well, Ray is, like I said, he's very competitive. So I said, just let the game come to you. And I think right now he's a mature player, and he's a team player. And it's not all about Ray. I mean, he has other individuals in the game on his team that can get the same job done. So we just said you play as a team, and you guys to be successful. So that's the advice that we give to him, and we always tell him the things that we hear negative in the media and say, you know what they said about you, Ray? So that motivates him.
All right, well, congratulations. Hey, enjoy the rest of the game, and Marvin, Mike, Flo's got game.
Very clever, Cheryl. You get it? You got game?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
A little slow on the Ray Allen, one of the stars of Spike Lee's motion picture.
I knew that.
I know you. The last time the Milwaukee Bucks won a playoff series, Ray Allen was in the 9th grade, living in South Carolina. Big fan of Clemson University. In fact, you go back to '89, George Karl had just come off coaching the Albany Patroons in the Continental Basketball Association. The general manager, Ernie Grunfeld, at the time, '89, was a radio color commentator, the Madison Square Garden Network for the New York Knicks. Back in '89, when they beat the Atlanta Hawks. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't help myself. There's Ernie.
Ernie doesn't even care about that fact that you brought that up.
12-point Milwaukee lead. Monty Williams involved in contact with Sam Cassell, and the foul on Cassell. And Monty took a shot in the mouth. Cassell thought it should be a charge. That's 4 on Cassell.
But Monty Williams knows he has a much smaller player, so he just basically tries to back over the top, goes through Cassell. Cassell tries to pick up the offensive foul. The contact, Williams hit in the mouth on it.
Monty Williams hearing the groans from the crowd. 7th year out of Notre Dame. His 2nd year was Orlando, able to convert 1 out of 2. The Milwaukee Bucks came out at the start of the 3rd quarter and took command, trailing by as many as 16 in the first half. They were on fire. They outscored the Magic 40-26 in that 3rd quarter. Shot just under 60% from the field. Shot clock down to 3. Hunter fires one. It's a 24-second violation.
Well, Magic getting the defensive stop that they need, but now they've got to find some way to score points at the offensive end of the floor as we have about 7.5 minutes remaining here.
Orlando now going with Armstrong and McGrady in the backcourt. Outlaw with Garrity and Williams up front. And apparently a problem with the clock.
I don't see a problem. No, he says we have 72 minutes left in the game.
You need stamina for that. Yes. Now they made the adjustment. 7.5 left. Crowd trying to rev up the home team. There's Monty Williams with Pat Garrity with a rainbow 3. Caffey on the rebound.
Yeah, that was a block out that time by Caffey. He moved Bo Atmore about 4 feet on that block out.
Outlaw trying to save it. Look out. Steps out of bounds and lands in the crowd. It will be Milwaukee ball. Bo Outlaw hearing the cheers for the hustle. Robinson gets it into Cassell. Here's Cassell. Rebounded by Thomas. And a very quiet 4th quarter for the Magic. 1 of 8 from the field. Here in the 4th. Overall, 1 for the last 13. Outlaw, it counts, and the foul.
So that Thomas layup that was missed would have put them up 13 points in the game. Instead, Now the Magic score a basket to cut it to 9 with a chance of going to the free throw line and making it an 8-point game. A huge miss at the other end. Outlaw finding the handle, switching hands for the lefty layup.
Ray Allen is back, as is Irvin Johnson, replacing Caffey and Hunter. Outlaw 0 for 2 at the line. A lot of poor free throw shooters on this team. As a team, they shoot at 71%, which is at the bottom. Robinson. And again, a second opportunity. Good job by Thomas.
We have the two extremes at the foul line here. Milwaukee, who's third in the league at almost 79% for the season, and the Magic, 26th in the league, as you mentioned, 71%.
Robinson lost it. McGrady with Thomas back, sets it up for Outlaw. He gave it back. The extra pass cost. Bad play.
And Tracy McGrady didn't expect it to come back. He thought that Outlaw was just trying to finish it off. Outlaw wanted to give it back to McGrady for the score. A little bit too unselfish. You put it in the hands of the good decision maker. That's McGrady. He makes the decision. He expects Outlaw to finish it strong.
So the Bucks back in possession. They lead by 9, 5:45 remaining in the fourth. Both teams in the midst of a drought. Armstrong got involved with Allen, and it's a double foul. Armstrong has to be restrained by Outlaw. Well, a moment ago, we heard Cheryl talking with Ray Allen's mom about all the trash talking. Things have been a bit testy between these two clubs.
You're saying to yourself, what's Darrell Armstrong doing there? If you go back to Game 3, Darrell Armstrong picked up 10 rebounds, for his Orlando team. And on the other side of the floor, the point guard, Sam Cassell, picked up 16 rebounds. So between the two starting point guards in Game 3, we had 26 rebounds.
And now they say double technical on Allen and Armstrong. And Doc Rivers will talk it over. Timeout call. The Bucks 103. The Magic 94 with 5:41 remaining in the fourth.
A lot of online brokers still process orders the old way.
Before our timeout, we had a double technical foul between Ray Allen and Darrell Armstrong. They've combined for 11 rebounds, and it starts way out here on the perimeter as they work towards the glass to get position for the rebound. They become entangled. Their arms are locked. They're both fighting for block-out position, and as the ball changes hands and starts to go down, they're locked. They're pushing and shoving. The officials call a double technical.
Double personal and double technical. It's been a rugged series. Tonight alone, we've had 4 technicals and 2 flagrants, 12 technical fouls thus far this series over the 4 games. Kickball is called. So the Magic will maintain possession. Bucks 103, the Magic 94 with 5:35 remaining in this fourth quarter. Orlando needing a burst right here, or the season is over. McGrady rejected by Johnson, but Monty Williams is there for the putback.
The Magic have tried to put McGrady down in the low post to draw a double team. Milwaukee has countered, and they are fronting the low post, forcing the lob, and then rotating from behind, hoping he doesn't get a good look to his teammates spotting up.
Allen trying to have the idea he wanted to put the move on Darrell Armstrong. Armstrong for 3. Outlaw keeps it alive. McGrady played by Robinson. Now Cassell. McGrady. Switched hands in midair, but was not able to convert.
I thought he couldn't decide once he got up there if he wanted to use the backboard and kick in off the backboard or play it straight in over the front of the rim.
McGrady has missed his last 6 shots. Robinson for 3. A huge shot for Glenn Robinson. did not play well the first 3 games, but has come on here tonight. He has 17 points, and the Bucks lead by 10.
Again, there's one of those passes that were not a good pass, therefore Garrity could not get a good shot.
Robinson is fouled by McGrady. No shot, says Joe Crawford. Foul before the shot attempt. So it's a non-shooting foul. Now George Karl takes a timeout. Just under 4 to go in the 4th. It's the Bucks 106, the Magic 96.
Fourth game is the biggest game in the series as far as I'm concerned. But I would like the experience of going all the way to the end with my ball club.
All right, that's coming up next on TBS. Don Nelson and his Dallas Mavericks going up against the Utah Jazz, and the season on the line for Dallas. And a terrific season for the surprising Mavericks. Milwaukee Bucks hoping to close it down here in Orlando, preventing a 5th game back in Milwaukee on Thursday night. Cassell now using the clock. Bucks up by 10. 3:40 remaining on the 4th. Robinson missed the tip. Allen, too many opportunities for the Bucks.
Right spot, right time, right place. Wrong place for Doc Rivers and his group.
Orlando just 3 of 14 from the field here in the 4th quarter. Offensive foul. Foul on Garrity, setting the illegal pick. And in this 4th quarter, Armstrong 0 for 5, McGrady 0 for 3. And for Doc Rivers and the Magic, unless there is a dramatic turn, the Bucks will advance to take on the Charlotte Hornets in the 2nd round.
You can see there's a clear understanding from Milwaukee. Every time they get into the half-court area, they are waiting and running that clock down. That shot took place with 4 seconds left on the 24-second clock. Make it count. Take time off the clock.
The Bucks are up by 14 points. McGrady.
Go.
We're down to 2:45 remaining.
And they will again come down, set up, run the clock down inside 6-5. Hopefully get a shot somewhere down there.
Tracy McGrady 0 for his last 7. Has not scored the last 12 minutes. Look out. Foul is called. Garrity and Johnson got entangled. Foul on Garrity.
So that'll be another 24-second possession now for Milwaukee. They'll take it out. They'll set up. They'll run plays again.
For the Milwaukee Bucks, slow start to the regular season. They opened up with 3-9. George Karl very upset with his club, in particular the big 3, and then they came on. They finished the season at 52-30, and apparently some debris being tossed onto the floor. We get an official timeout, and public address announcer asking that fans refrain from tossing objects onto the court. But the Bucks finished 2nd seed in the East. Even with that bad start, they were one of the NBA's most improved teams. They jumped from 42-40 to 52-30, their best record in 15 years. And they're looking for their first playoff series victory since back. You're looking at me. In the 1988-89 season,
that's enough, okay?
Mentioning it.
That's enough.
Factual. We just happened to have the flashback. You want to describe what's happening here?
No, I don't want to describe at all what's happening.
Ricky Pierce. Oh, a very svelte and youthful czar. Sidney Moncrief. You think I'm enjoying this?
Sure.
And Del Harris, the winning coach.
Sure. Did you go to on the show from the past?
Yes.
I mean, you mentioned all my players, the players we had, and you don't mention any of the Milwaukee players, okay, at the time. Now you say Moncrief.
I mentioned Moncrief, and I mentioned who? Paul Pressey was injured. He didn't play. He's on the Orlando bench as an assistant coach. Well, why should I mention Milwaukee players?
He's giving them all this credit for
They were
winning that
shorthanded,
series.
as it turns out.
Well, in a minute.
They were hurt. Coming up on 2 minutes to go. And the fourth, here's Cassell. The Bucks with a 14-point lead in command. Armstrong for three. For the Magic, a season that saw them go 43-39 as they finished in the number 7 seed. A solid year when you consider they lost all-star Grant Hill, and when you consider how young they are, and what a breakout year it's been for Tracy McGrady. Johnson will go to the line, fouled by Outlaw. And looking ahead, as we have discussed during the course of the season, it figures to be Grant Hill at the point next season. Pretty good combination with Tracy McGrady, and you have to feel that Orlando's still putting this club together. There are some free agents out there who will be wearing Magic uniforms next season.
Yeah, look, overall this has turned out to be just a fantastic season. No one wanted to see Grant Hill injured, hurt, and miss the entire season. But one thing that's happened because of it, the emergence of McGrady as a star. Mike Miller gets all the playing time that he wouldn't have gotten. Now they come back and build on that.
PBS viewers, come in. This is Paul and Annabelle. We're going to be hovering over dinner and a movie Friday night. We're watching the movie Top Gun.
We're going to be making Pentagon pork barrel pozole.
Movie stars Tom Cruise, Val Kilmer, Kelly McGillis, Meg Ryan, also Anthony Edwards.
Roger.
Roger? Who's Roger in the movie?
That's classified.
What? Oh, hey, look, someone's on our wing.
Oh, hey, how are you? You have any Grey Poupon?
Yes, sir. Dinner and a movie, Friday following the Braves game, only on the Superstation.
With the 512th pick in the NBA fan draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Ruth Gilman.
Every time you use 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls, you could be drafted to an NBA team. If your team goes to the finals, you go too, and get a $25,000 signing bonus. Just dial down the center, 1-800-CALL-ATT. The more you call, the more chances you have to win a trip to the NBA Finals.
Yo, what's up, dog?
Coming up next, here on TBS, the second of our playoff doubleheader, the Jazz and the Mavericks. Game 4, Utah in front, 2-1. And looking ahead, it will be the Milwaukee Bucks and the Charlotte Hornets. Season series won by Charlotte 3-1 as they did it off the boards to the tune of a +13. That's quite a margin.
Charlotte did it off the boards to a lot of teams this year in the NBA.
And Jamal Mashburn, who had the sensational series in the sweep of Miami, also hurt the Bucks during the regular season.
Speaking about that Utah-Dallas series, when's the last time that Dallas won a playoff series, Mark?
88.
Amazing.
Is that intended as a quiz or just the course of conversation?
I figured to get back to it somehow. It might as well help you get there.
Coming up on 1 minute remaining in the fourth. Do you have any more footage from that Atlanta-Milwaukee series? Here's Miller. Coming up short. And it will be Orlando ball. Now Don Reed checks in along with Monty Williams. And Tracy McGrady is headed to the bench. Doc Rivers making the substitution. He wants Tracy to hear the applause. Tracy McGrady with a magnificent playoff run. This was not one of his stronger games. Mike Miller come up big, a playoff career high 19 points for Miller. McGrady with 25 points, 8 assists. But over the first 3 games, 33, 35, and then 42 in a dazzling performance. Robinson, shot clock running down, and Orlando with 30 seconds remaining in their season. The block by Robinson. Outlaw slaps it to Garrity. put it down. One of the subplots here tonight, though, Glenn Robinson has to feel very good. Several Magic players referring to him as puppy dog rather than big dog. And he came up with an outstanding game, finishing with a 17 points, 8 rebounds. And this supportive crowd here in Orlando letting the Magic know how they feel about them as their season has concluded.
Well, you mentioned Glenn Robinson.